Hello everyone, it is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Tuesday, October 5th with a short market insights video. This is where we take a quick pulse check on the market. We take a look at a specific area, and in today's video we're going to be looking at semiconductors. Semiconductors are trying to lead the charge today. It's basically semis and financials that are rebounding. The quick recap, of course, if you missed yesterday's action, it was a doozy of a session. We continued the volatility. We saw lots of selling pressure, broke to new recent lows in all of the major indices and closed pretty weak, but we've got the classic sort of turnaround Tuesday in motion here. Indices, if you look in the top of the left screen here, we're recording this intraday, but you can see are all about 1 to 2% higher. The IWM clearly lagging a bit right now, only up 30 bips, but clearly a rally attempt, a pivot attempt here. If we take a look at the S&P 500 quickly, you can see yesterday's action made new intraday lows or new recent lows, and we're reversing sharply. The Qs, same thing, reversing sharply. So we've got a bit of a turnaround. We want to take a look at one of the strong sectors now that have been a leader in this market for a long time and have the leadership going on here today. So semiconductors, SMH, that is the ticker that we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be going underneath the hood of this particular ETF and pulling out the strongest stocks over the daily performance. So SMH, here's the picture. It's been that leadership group for the market. You can see it's down approximately, as of yesterday's lows, it hit a 10%, what do we call that? Correction, I suppose, is the proper label. So a 10% correction off of the all-time highs. And if we zoom out here, the structure is pretty much still intact. This hasn't been a very, very strong uptrend, but it's been grinding higher. So let's take a look at some of those components. The number one stock here over the past 5 days is XLNX. This one here is a mega cap, large cap name in the semi space. You can see that in its corrective space here, it only fell 8%. So a little bit better than what its ETF, its index, its broader sort of bucket fell. And if we look at the structure here, you can see, again, pretty much intact. We are still trying to get over these late 2020, early 2021 highs. So you really want to see this back over 154, 155 to get excited about a potential breakout here. But this is clearly showing a little bit of relative strength and is very much intact here from a longer term perspective. AMD, so very well-known name, mega cap, semiconductor. Take a look at this performance, this rally. So this clearly broke out to new all-time highs in August, and then of course this got gripped by the selling pressure. This fell 18% from its all-time highs, but again, time frame and how you're looking at this matters, because you've got just a nice kind of healthy wedge going on here, digestion pattern over the recent move. And even though it suffered an 18% correction, it's still holding above this prior breakout zone. So I do actually like AMD here on that structure. You can also look at this on a weekly time frame. You can see this looks more like a nice wedge bull flag kind of forming here. Big volume breakout, lower volume correction. That's what you like to see. Intel, another one of the massive semiconductors here. This looks a little bit worse than the rest, right? So INTC, this is number 3. It's positive over the past 5 days, up 1% today. This chart, though, doesn't excite me like an AMD or even the XLNX, because it just has more overhead supply here. It didn't quite really break out to new highs here recently. It failed at those highs. So Intel, it's hanging in this big range. It's not the worst, long term, here. It is just still consolidating, but it is nowhere near as exciting to me as some of those other names. If we look at Texas Instruments, here's an interesting one. So it's basically flat over the past 5 days, but look at this chart. I mean, this never really got any type of meaningful correction. It's just been up, 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 up and to the right. It's certainly been gradual in here, but still overall, lots of just, supply traded in this zone, and it's holding above it. So TXN, definitely want to see this over 190. You want to see this holding above this 190 area, and so far so good. Let's run through a few more here. NVIDIA, so this is a well-known large cap, again, one of the biggest, and this one here, clearly, again, just in this nice, big, broad uptrend leadership name in this market right here. And if we take a look at its performance recently, it suffered about a 15% pullback from those highs. It's rebounding aggressively today. It's taking out yesterday's highs. It's exactly what you want to see here, trying to put in that pivot low and put in a swing to the upside. One last name, we'll look at AVGO. This is Broadcom. Again, another big cap name here. And you can see this one looks very similar to the SMH. It's down about 7% from its highs. It's trying to put in that pivot. It's taking out yesterday's high and trying to put in that higher low. So Semiconductors leadership group, here's a little bit of a deep dive on some of those components that are holding up best, acting well, and are trying to rebound. So if you're interested in this space, take a look at those names. Of course, none of those direct recommendation by me. Do your homework, make it your own, follow your rules, your process, your strategy, and you will hopefully navigate this just fine. So hopefully that helps. Leave a comment below if you like any of these names. Thanks so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to stay up to date with all of our video updates. Thanks so much, and we'll see you back here later this week.